Thanks for watching Community Update for Friday, October 16th. I'm Steve Erickson. It took 5 special sessions, but this week, the state legislature passed a $1.9 billion bonding bill for roads and other construction projects across Minnesota. One such project securing funding is an expansion to the Coon Recycling Center. Plans call for a new building for styrofoam recycling, cold storage for mattresses, electronics, and appliances, additional parking and traffic lanes, and covered storage to keep collected materials dry and clean. The city will get $316,000 from the state and pay the other half of the project cost.
So many feelings, super excited, relieved, a little bit of stress just because now comes the next part where we know what we want to do, but now we got to get down to business and put a final plan together. And but it's very exciting news. We're thrilled to hear that after it's been a long year waiting for it.
Since the start of the pandemic, the recycling center has seen a big increase in traffic as people clean out their homes and recycle more. A final plan will be developed this winter, and construction is expected to begin in the spring. Excitement over at Anoka-Ramsey Community College as well this week. The college is receiving more than $16 million to modernize an aging building that houses the nursing and business programs. The state funding will allow the school to expand classrooms and improve technology to keep pace as the demand for qualified nurses grows. Anoka-Ramsey has the second largest nursing program in the state. Several road projects in the region also secured funding. There's $8.4 million for Highway 10 improvements in Anoka and Ramsey, $1.5 million for a proposed interchange improvements at Highway 610 and East River Road, and $1.5 million to begin design work on a bridge over Highway 65 at 109th Avenue in Blaine. In all, the bonding bill includes more than $700 million for roads and bridges across the state. Several candidates running for state senate took part in a question and answer session this week.
What policies would you support to help retain and attract businesses and talent to the region?
The candidate forum, sponsored by the North Metro Mayors Association, took place Wednesday night at the Coon Rapids City Center. The candidates running for state senate in District 36 and District 37 answered several questions. Due to the special session, candidates for state representative were unable to make it as they were voting on the bonding bill. We will be airing the candidate forums in the coming weeks on our CTN government channel and on YouTube. Minnesota is seeing a steady rise in the number of COVID-19 cases. Part of that can be attributed to a big increase in testing. This week, public health officials were in Anoka for a free testing event. CTN Steve Antis has more.
Hi, you were registered today?
The National Guard has been mobilized to the front lines to help in the battle against COVID-19.
We have the capacity to test about 120 or so an hour.
Incident Command for State Emergency Operations Center Heather Hirsch took us through the site. It's one of 6 such events happening this week across the state, meant to increase no barriers testing.
5 seconds in each nostril, and it's very quick. There's no pain, I promise. I've had it done several times.
Test results generally come back within 72 hours.
We are aware that the cases in Anoka County are going up.
Anoka County Public Health was assigned COVID-19 response activities by the state, according to their director, Janelle Hubbard.
And what that structure does is it predetermines roles and responsibilities. So when emergencies occur, we can quickly activate and respond to community needs.
And that means mass testing for the virus. Officials have seen increased levels of community spread throughout Anoka County, and they are working to ensure mission-critical staff are ready when needed.
For example, police, fire, EMS, and 911 staff are making sure that those infrastructures can be maintained and so that they can respond to our community needs.
As of this week in Anoka County, there have been over 123,000 people tested for coronavirus, and of those, 6.4% have tested positive, compared to the state average of 5.2%.
We know we have a lot of individuals who may not have access to health care, may not have access to a clinic.
And while state efforts are aimed at community testing for COVID-19, public health officials still want everyone to get their seasonal flu shot.
We're just really encouraging people to take personal responsibility for their health and protecting themselves. When they protect themselves, they will be protecting others around them.
In Anoka, Steve Antis reporting for Community Update.
The Minnesota Department of Health has tested nearly 25,000 people across the state. Next week, they'll be testing in 4 more locations, including Cambridge and Monticello. Also, there's a push to open more saliva testing sites, with one opening up in Brooklyn Park on October 20th. Help is available for people struggling to pay their rent due to the pandemic. $100 million has been allocated from the state's COVID-19 Relief Fund to create the COVID-19 Housing Assistance Program. Both ACAP and the Salvation Army are helping administer the funds. You can find an application on ACAP's website. The Salvation Army can be reached at 763-755-6873, extension 5. It won't be the celebration that they had expected, but the Halloween capital of the world is determined to mark the 100th anniversary of Anoka Halloween in spirit. CTN's Jennifer Anderson reports.
Each year when the wind chills and the leaves start to change, this little river city shines.
It's a season. Anoka celebrates Halloween throughout the whole month of October, and it's like ingrained into what it is to be an Anokan.
A century of tradition will do that to a community. Even during a pandemic, signs of Anoka's signature holiday are everywhere.
So this year is our 100th year. We started our festival in 1920, and here we are amongst all the chaos and trying to work with what we've got and make the best of it.
Perhaps the biggest change this year is the Grand Day Parade, which normally draws tens of thousands of people, but isn't feasible in the age of COVID. Instead, organizers landed on a reverse parade. People will drive along a designated route to enjoy floats and displays from their car.
It's a very hard thing to realize we can't do what we want to do, but we slowly just kept pushing forward. And I think that's what makes Anoka different.
I think Anoka will show its resiliency, and even though it's not the same, I think it will still be fantastic.
It's not exactly the centennial celebration John Jost and his committee spent the past 4 years planning. The 100th Anniversary Committee has a coffee table book coming out this month commemorating Anoka Halloween through the years. It all began as a way to curb escalating Halloween mischief after the turn of the century.
By 1919, folks had woken up on November 1st to outhouses tipped, farm animals let free, there were cows loose in the street, there were carriages put up on top of rooftops. So the pranks had just gotten out of hand, and so the townsfolk had decided something had to happen.
This is the site of the inaugural Anoka Halloween bonfire in 1920. Bells rang out at 7:30 that night, kicking off decades of Halloween celebrations to follow. This year, throughout the city, organizers ask people to honk horns, ring bells, and sound sirens at 7:30 on Halloween night to show that the spirit is still alive. For Community Update, I'm Jennifer Anderson.
Anoka Halloween is completely volunteer run, and organizers ask for patience during this year's changes and challenges. The full schedule of events and the latest updates as they evolve are posted on the Anoka Halloween Facebook page and at anokahalloween.com. A reminder, tomorrow the Coon Rapids Community Strength Foundation is sponsoring a pumpkin patch at Sand Creek Park from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. All children 12 and under will receive a free pumpkin. Organizations that serve youth in the community will also share information about their programs. An Anoka man is representing the Halloween capital of the world in a big way this year.
Let's see what your pumpkin weighs. 2, 3, 5. Oh, wow! Wow!
On Monday, Travis Ginger's gourd tipped the scales at the 47th annual Safeway World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off held in Half Moon Bay, California. He made sure to take good care of the pumpkin on the trek from Minnesota to California, wrapping it in wet blankets and tarps, placing it in dirt, and watering it every time he stopped for gas.
So it was about a 35-hour drive, and with something like this, you're just white-knuckling every bump. You know, you don't want to hit those bumps and have a crack on you.
Travis planted the big winner back on April 11th and says he's been growing pumpkins since he was a teen. His pumpkin is the second largest ever entered into the contest. His prize, besides bragging rights, $7 a pound, which equals $16,450. Not bad for his first entry into the World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off. He also named his pumpkin, apparently, or his brother, the Tiger King. I don't know if you saw in those shots there was a tiger, but Tiger King because, of course, 2020. All right, that's going to bring us to the end of today's show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here again next week.